The ocean is beautiful from a distance, calm waves, endless blue water, giant ships floating peacefully across the horizon. But beneath that beauty, the sea hides a terrifying truth. Because once disaster begins in the middle of the ocean, there's nowhere to run. One of the most famous ship disasters in history began on a freezing night in April 1912. The RMS Titanic, called unsinkable by the world, was crossing the Atlantic Ocean, filled with luxury, music, and some of the richest people alive. Passengers danced inside grand halls while the giant ship moved silently through icy waters, and then suddenly, lookouts spotted something directly ahead. An iceberg. The warning came too late. Titanic slammed into the ice, tearing open its side beneath the waterline. At first, many passengers didn't even realize the ship was dying. Music continued playing while freezing seawater slowly flooded the lower decks. But within hours, panic spread across the ship. Lifeboats were launched into the dark Atlantic as desperate families searched for survival. Some boats left half empty, while hundreds remained trapped on board. Then came the final moments. The massive ship tilted upward into the freezing night sky before snapping apart and disappearing beneath the ocean forever. More than 1,500 people lost their lives in the icy water that night. And even today, Titanic remains one of the deadliest maritime disasters ever remembered. But decades later, another terrifying tragedy shocked the world again. In 2012, the luxury cruise ship Costa Concordia sailed near the coast of Italy, carrying thousands of passengers. Everything seemed normal until the ship suddenly drifted dangerously close to shore. Then disaster struck. The massive vessel crashed into underwater rocks, ripping open the side of the ship. Electricity failed. Lights flickered. Water rushed inside as the giant cruise liner slowly began tilting into the sea. Passengers ran through dark hallways, searching for lifeboats, while crew members struggled to control the chaos. Some people jumped directly into the cold water to escape. Others became trapped inside as the ship leaned farther and farther onto its side. Helicopters circled above the disaster, while rescue teams rushed through the night trying to save survivors. The terrifying images of the giant cruise ship lying sideways near the coast quickly spread across the world. And for many passengers, the nightmare lasted for hours. But perhaps one of the most horrifying ship disasters happened far from cameras and headlines. In 1987, the passenger ferry MV Doña Paz sailed through the Philippines carrying thousands of people. Many families on board were sleeping peacefully when the ferry suddenly collided with an oil tanker in the darkness. The impact triggered a massive explosion. Flames erupted across the ocean as burning fuel spread over the water itself. Survivors described seeing people trapped between fire and sea with nowhere left to escape. Some jumped into the water only to find the ocean burning around them. Others were trapped inside the ship as smoke and fire consumed the ferry within minutes. More than 4,000 people are believed to have died in that disaster, making it one of the deadliest peacetime maritime tragedies in history. And then came another mysterious disaster that still haunts Europe today. In 1994, the MS Estonia ferry was traveling across the Baltic Sea during a violent storm. Powerful waves slammed against the ship through the night while passengers tried to sleep below deck. Suddenly, something went horribly wrong. The front loading door of the ferry reportedly failed under the pressure of the storm, allowing freezing seawater to rush inside. Within minutes, the massive ship began tilting violently. Passengers woke up to chaos. Furniture crashed through hallways. Lights failed. Ice-cold water flooded the interior, while people desperately climbed through narrow corridors, trying to reach the upper decks. Many never made it out. The ship sank rapidly into the freezing darkness of the Baltic Sea, taking hundreds of lives with it. Even today, survivors describe the sounds of screaming, metal tearing apart, and giant waves crashing through the ship as one of the most terrifying experiences imaginable. And perhaps that is what makes disasters at sea so horrifying. On land, there is usually somewhere to escape, but in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by darkness and freezing water, humanity becomes completely helpless. Because when the sea turns violent, even the world's biggest ships can disappear forever.